From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a great evening on Evenings LALATE with a big update about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over the breaking news that happened today that impacts your fourth stimulus check. Incredible great news as we focus on how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and why the vote may be earlier than initially thought. In this recording, we go over the breaking news and why the vote in July may come sooner. Wow. Finally, some incredible great news. Then we turn to the fifth stimulus package heating up this fall that'll raise your benefits if you're on SSI, STI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, and why there may be a second lift after that that will be absolutely to the moon. Incredible great details breaking just this evening. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money that's landing across the board, some automatically and some you have to get for. And then we go over big details that are coming out of Wall Street and the Federal Reserve that could impact your fourth stimulus. We had the new labor numbers come out today. I'll go over those as well. And a lot of other breaking details that impact the finish line. The toast was toasting, the butter was buttering this morning, and tonight the surf is surfing as we go into a big evening of Evenings LALATE. The fish are fishing, the surf is surfing, and I'm here, you're here. This is Evenings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 tonight. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful evening. It is wonderful here in Los Angeles. The weather's great tonight. How is the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from and what type of weather you're having. Thank you for joining me on Evenings LALATE tonight. In tonight's recording, we go over the fourth stimulus check, the big money that lands in the month of July, but could land before that. Oh, wow, this is getting exciting. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, the second half of this recording, and why there may be a major second lift after that first lift of your benefits under fifth stimulus. Wow. Then we get to the meat and potato of the middle of this recording, where we go over the big money land in the bank account. This week, this weekend, and next week, I'm really excited for you. Let's get to the details, starting with the fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is that monthly stimulus check that heats up in both a House and Senate proposal, but it's heating up moreover because of one word, Jalapal. Jalapal is the House member who wrote the multiple stimulus check bill for the House. And when Jalapal wrote it, nearly 100 House Democrats came out in support of it. Well, Jalapal is making news tonight again as well about your fourth stimulus check. Let's go over that details. But first, let's go over how much is the fourth stimulus check. The House proposal is a stimulus check for every month for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So let's say there's 4 more months left of the pandemic. That would be 4 months plus 1 year, 16 months of stimulus checks. The Senate proposal is stimulus checks from July to December. If you're watching this show and you're in the live chat just after 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, vote House or Senate. Vote House or Senate, but don't vote yet because we need to go over the details. So the Senate proposal, the monthly amount is unknown. The House proposal is $1,000 after the first month, but word on the street is the Senate amount is this. Wow, wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. This is the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. 4 stimulus checks. So now let's go over who gets it and when you get it and why that pandemic issue is very fascinating. So when looking at the House proposal, pandemic plus 1 year, the question is the pandemic could be over by the time they vote on this? That's the new wrinkle. The wrinkle is that the CDC nearly a week ago today lifted the mask mandate, saying you don't have to wear a mask indoors if you're fully vaccinated. The White House lifted the mask mandate on White House grounds last Friday. Then the governor of New York lifted it in New York State yesterday. California lifts it on June 15th. And corporations across the board, all more today, continue to lift the mask mandate nationally. So will there be a pandemic when the vote happens in July? Likely not. I mean, the virus will still be around, but the pandemic for purposes of legislation may be gone. That means then the House proposal would be 1 year stimulus checks, not pandemic plus 1 year. 12 months of stimulus check, $13,000 for the House, compared to the Senate, which is 6 months of stimulus checks, potentially $12,000. So which one do you like? Yes, I think you're going to say Senate. If you're in the live chat right now, Senate versus House, Senate versus House, drop your comments. If you're in the tape show, if you're in the watching this taped, Senate versus House, drop in the comments. Also tell me where you're from. Incredible, great news. Now let's go over the details of the fourth stimulus. Who gets it, when you get it, and all that is more. Remember, I'm a reporter. I just report the news. I'm not the legislator. I'm not writing the bills, nor am I running for office either. So what do they represent? They represented yesterday, again, that the vote would be by July 4th. Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi confirmed that. So the vote would happen July 4th, meaning the first check would go out in the month of July, for the month of July. August, for the month of August. There would be no waves of stimulus checks, meaning a check a different week of the month, depending on who you are. They can't do that. It's a monthly stimulus check. There would be no taxes on the stimulus checks. It's not income. The amount of the stimulus check for adult dependents, minor dependents, everyone would be the same. Great news there. And then who gets it? You do. If you got the third stimulus check, you get the fourth stimulus check. So if you make less than $75,000, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Just double it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. Household 4 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Incredible, great news. Do we know if it's going to be taken out for child support? We don't know that yet. And there you go. That is the fourth stimulus check. Later in this recording, we go over why Jalopal is making big news as well. Again, about the fourth stimulus check and why Jalopal is getting nearly 100 House Democrats supporting the latest letter. Oh boy, it's just heating up. Really heating up. But let me give you a preview of the second half of this recording. Stay with me to the very end. This is a jam-packed 30-minute show. I got a lot of money to get you in this show, and I want you to get this money. So get a pen and paper ready. But let me give you a preview of the second half of this video. In the second half of this 30-minute video, we'll be going over fifth stimulus. And the fifth stimulus is that raising up of your benefits if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and survivor benefits. And then they add a benchmark, and that benchmark is inflation. You know what inflation is. Well, the problem is no one really knows just yet what the inflationary rate will be in December. We have more breaking news today about that inflationary rate that suggests you could have a major step up in your benefits a second time later this year. Wow. Incredible, great news. That's coming up in the second half of this recording. But now let's get some money. Let's get some money. When third stimulus, not fourth stimulus, when third stimulus was passed earlier this year, I told you you're going to get a $14 third stimulus check. But I said the bigger money you're going to get is $5, $10, $15, $20,000 on the third stimulus. It's for you. And we're not tracking checks on this channel. We're cashing checks. And here's where you're going to cash a check. It's money for rent. So get that pen and paper ready. Money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance is heating up. It's $350 billion land your city, counties, and states this week and next week. So where is it? What is it? How much can you get? Let's go over the details starting right now. It's about $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent, and it's available in 6 locations. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, your state housing authority. Ultimately, they all have different allotments of money, and they have different qualifiers. So if you reach out to one and you get a no, go to the next one. Don't stop on number 1. Those 6 locations can provide you money for rent, utilities, and the homeowners assistance as well. So go get it. About $5,000 for rent. A couple $1,000 for utilities as well. Now let's turn to SNAP. SNAP has been the real big success story. Not a day goes by someone says, I got rent, thank you. Or I got on SNAP, thank you. SNAP is a lifetime benefit. Let's go over the details of what it is. SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Call them up, Department of Agriculture. You can also get connected to them by calling 211. What is SNAP, money for food? How much is it? It's a lot. It's a lot. A family of 4 in Hawaii can get upwards of $16,000 a year this year. Why? Because 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raised it 15% for 1 year. Incredible, great news. So go get that money for SNAP. $15,000 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. Wow, we're over $20,000 and we just started. We're only 9-10 minutes into this video. We are doing great, but I got to give you three tough love moments right now. Reality check moment number one, which is the money for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance is a lot of money, but it's first come, first serve. When I told you about this money in January, I said, when it lands, you have to be a purple hawk. That's what became the expression, purple hawk. You have to pounce, hawk, 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 and get that money before anyone else because there'll be a stimulus stampede. People rushing in to get that money before you. First come, first serve. So the reality check is to get that money before it goes away. The reality check number two is that the money will go away, that the money is not coming back under forced stimulus. So rent and the homeowner's assistance is not coming back on a forced stimulus. Even more clear is that the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance are going away. The Democrats' theory is the following. They want to give you a lot of money for these items now, so you're caught up on your bills, so that they can lift the eviction moratorium and the mortgage protection later this year. There you go. So that is that item. So now let's turn to some great free money. It's coming from two different locations, one on the left and one on the right. Let me go over the details. On the left is money coming from your states. It's thousands of dollars. As one viewer said, I'm owed $5,000. Congratulations. What is this money? How are you going to get it? And when are you going to get it? Let me go over the details right now. What is this money? This is money where they overpaid you for unemployment benefits to no fault of your own due to a computer malfeasance, and you were asked to return it back to them, and you did. Well, guess what? The state is now returning the money back to you. The federal government has stepped in and said states made an error by asking you to return the money back to them. They should not have. You should have been able to keep the money. So the federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you. Incredible, great news. How are you going to get it? In the bank account that your state has on file. It's going to come to that bank account on file, and there you go. Then finally, when are you going to get the money? The money is going to land in the bank account depending on the state in which you are in. So reach out to the respective state. They have details on the routing times for their repayment of the money. And there you go. Incredible, great news. Now let's go to the other side. Big money number two. And who's this coming from? The federal government, IRS. Let me go over what it is, how you're going to get it, and when you're going to get it. All right, first, what it is and how much money it is. It's a fortune. One viewer already got $2,000. What is it? It's money you paid to the federal government for taxes on your unemployment benefits on the 2020 return. So the federal government is returning that money back to you. Let's go over how much you're getting as an example. $9,000 unemployment benefits in 2020, of which you paid a $5,000 tax bill to IRS, and $4,000 of that tax bill was taxes on your unemployment benefits to IRS. You're getting back $4,000. Congratulations. So let's go over how you're going to get the money. In the mailbox, it will come by direct deposit only if that was listed on the 2020 return. So in the mailbox, beige or white envelope, inside a yellow check from IRS or Treasury to you, subject line, refund. Thousands of dollars. Finally, when are you getting it? Everyone's going to get it in the month of May. That's the great news. But they've been separated now into three phases. Phase one will be paid throughout this week and be done this week. Phase two is next week, and the end of this week into next week. And then phase three is the final week of May. Yes, everyone's getting paid in May. So what's phase one's payment group? People who are single filers, nothing complicated on the return, no dependents, no refunds. Phase two is single filers with complicated returns. And phase three is joint filers, husband and wife. Incredible, great news. Which brings me back to Jalapal. Jalapal is that House member who wrote the multiple stimulus check bill. And when Jalapal wrote that multiple stimulus check bill, got 100 plus House Democrats to support it by writing a letter to the president saying they're putting multiple stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Remember, House and Senate write the bill, not the president. And when Jalapal wrote that House bill, then other senators stepped forward and said, we're going to do it as well. We're going to do multiple stimulus checks as well. So what's Jalapal up to now? This, an incredible letter from Jalapal, which was written to Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi, and guess who signed it? The same approximate 100 Democratic House members who signed for multiple stimulus checks. Incredible, great news. What is the substance of the letter? Nothing substantive about the prongs or the provisions of forced stimulus, but simply the following big, bold, beautiful message. Get it done. Call the vote. We're tired of waiting. Wow. So the message is basically Republicans aren't coming to the table with a decent counter proposal. What are we waiting for? Call the vote. We've been working on the two-step two-bill process over the last 2 months. We're almost done. Call the vote. What are we waiting for? Really, really incredible. And if it's not any more incredible than it is, then we got, in addition to this, which is a PDF which members of this channel get, if you have not become a member, the link's at the top of the chat, and join as a member right now, is this. The incredible statements from Senate and House Democrats that say we're not going to wait around any longer. No one should wait around any longer. The vote should be called. Here's what's at issue. When the president debuted the fourth stimulus proposal, which has the add-on of stimulus checks from these legislators, the president asked for a counterproposal from the Republicans. They said, fine, Republicans, $500 billion. He said, I'm not doing $500 billion. So then week after week, day after day, they came back with the same number, $500 billion. The president says no. So the Democrats have said, what are we doing here? We've heard the same counterproposal that's been rejected 300,000 times. Call the vote on our reconciliation. What are we waiting for here? And these comments come in from Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat of New York. When asked whether to wait another minute on calling the vote, she said, absolutely not, because we might lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House, Biden, should relegate recovery of the judgment of Mitch McConnell because McConnell will not function in good faith. And then Ruben Gallego, Democrat out of Arizona, said Republicans are not being players and we should just move on without them, meaning call the vote. Don't wait around for Republicans. Representative Mark Pocan, who said it's not time to wait around any longer, says, at what point do Republicans seriously come to the table? If Republicans don't come to the table, it doesn't mean Democrats don't serve the meal. The meal is your fourth stimulus package. And then finally, Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin says you can talk with people, but get the vote done on the reconciliation. Democrats ought to have a timely negotiation with Republicans, but be prepared to finish the reconciliation. And then Representative Ro Khanna, who never minces a single word, Khanna said, the Democrat out of California, I think we should move forward on our reconciliation bill and get it voted on. Wow, wow, wow. So here's what you need to know about the input of this and how this is going to work publicly and privately. First, legislators don't have press conferences every 10 seconds. The fact that this article had 5 or 6 quotes about the same subject matter is rare. You're not going to have that on a daily basis. Number 2, legislators don't come out and say, I've written 20 pages of the 30-page bill. They don't give you updates. They just sort of do it. AOC once said, when we're done, they just sort of give you 10 minutes to vote and they say, we're done. So they don't give you progress reports on the two-step, two-bill, 2-month process. But we do know this, that the President of the United States, for purposes of optics, which is public perception, has given a deadline, a line in the sand of Memorial Day, that he'll have meetings, lunches, literally lunches, with Republicans where they say, no deal. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow for lunch. Have a great lunch. Yeah, I love the dessert. And then tomorrow, no deal. Okay, see you tomorrow for lunch. Yeah, you're going to have the same chicken? Yeah. He's going to keep on doing that all the way to Memorial Day, and then he's going to end it. But the Democrats that are in the House of Senate say, yeah, you can do those lunches with the no answers day after day after day, but we're ready to finish the reconciliation and call it for a vote. We're working on it right now. We're finishing up the legislation. Incredible great news. Also incredible great news is the volunteers. The volunteers are viewers just like you have stepped forward to help you get money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also SNAP and internet. If you need help with any of those subjects, reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? They're in the description to this video. Open the description and you'll see an emoji of a house. On that emoji of the house, next to it is a link to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. It sends you to the webpage of LALATE with a picture of some cats. On that page is the volunteers. Separated from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, reach out to them. They can help you find that money, and they may even be in the live chat. I'm in the live chat, so say hi. And I'm back in 60 seconds with big updates about your fifth stimulus and the breaking news from Wall Street that impacts your fourth stimulus. Big news, all coming up right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA with big exciting details about your fourth stimulus check and fifth stimulus package. How are you? It's Evenings LA. Almost made it to the weekend. Hope you're having a beautiful weekend across the board. I'm back with you in 2 hours from now with Late Night Crypto. It's our hit show. Join me. It's important to learn and have fun and interact. It's coming up in 2 hours from now at 7 o'clock on the West Coast, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Then a replay of that show is in our late night overnight feed. It's a 9-hour show, and it is going through the roof. Bring this channel to number one. Share it on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, and Instagram. Share these videos. Tell people to come on in and subscribe. I want you part of this channel. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes, especially if you're in the live chat. Hit that like button right now and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Bauer, Calcino VIP. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. So now let's go to the exciting news about fifth stimulus. And this is sort of a reason why I want to be a member, because fifth stimulus has a lot of items in fifth stimulus. And in a 30-minute video, I can't go over all the other items in the fifth stimulus package, which are absolutely incredible. There is money in there for hazard pay. There is money in there for single individuals and adults. There is money in there for seniors, like reducing medical costs as well. So if you are a member, you have access to the provisions of the fifth stimulus. But what I want to go over, rather than go over all those details, which would take me another 30 minutes, is the incredible add-on of SSI and SSDI. That add-on of SSI and SSDI is the reform of the system. And I want to go over those details starting right now. That SSI and SSDI details, I'm going to go over broadly, and then I'll go over the specifics. First, they're going to increase your benefit limits, then remove the asset limits, then add an inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and then remove the income exclusion. All right, let's go over what that means and also the breaking news that impacts it across the board. So what are they going to do first? First, they're going to raise up your benefits to a big new number. Who's you? You. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, this is you. They're going to raise your benefits up to a big new number. Great news across the board. Next, they're going to add a new benchmark. That benchmark is inflation. What's a benchmark? A benchmark is what determines your benefits for the next year or thereafter. So every December you get a letter saying next year your benefits are going to go up $20 or $100 or $200. What are they doing that off of? The benchmark. Here the benchmark will be inflation. So they're going to look at the inflation rate in December and say, oh, well, the inflation rate is this percentage. We're going to raise your benefits up. Here's what you need to know is that your benefits never step down. They either stay the same or step up. So for example, the inflationary rate, we've heard anything from 2 to 4% originally. Let's say it's 4%. They would raise your benefits up 4%. And then next year, the year after that, if inflation is 0, you don't step down, you would just stay the same. A week ago on Friday, we heard from Jerry Seco from the Wharton School of Business, where he said the inflationary rate in December may likely be 20%. 2 days ago, we heard from the Fed chair out of Georgia that said the growth number, his tracker, will show 250% growth by December from to now, which is actually growing very strong at the moment. Well, what happened this morning? This morning, one major analyst appeared on broadcast news who is a former Carter administrator, member of the Carter administration, and he said, don't expect 2% inflation, but don't expect 12 or 15% inflation. You could certainly expect 3 to 9% inflation. Wow. So that's great news for you, because look what's going to happen if that's the case. First, they're going to raise your benefits up under fifth stimulus. Then they'll raise you up, let's say, 8%. In December, and you'll never step down. That will be a major step up. And then going forward, every year after that, you will stay there or go up more. Incredible, great news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. The asset cap is dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. Thank goodness, because you need to put those stimulus checks in the bank. And then they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also work. So if you want to work, you can go work. $1,000, $2,000 a month, you can go work. Great news across the board. Finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. The marriage penalty has been horrible because it's dating back forever to a very bad provision that says if you get married, you lose benefits. So people have lost benefits while being married or have not got to marry for fear of losing benefits. It's going to go away. Incredible, great news. Love is going to win. That's fifth stimulus, heating up in the fall. Two-bill, two-step, two-month process starting September, likely to impact your benefits by about November. Now let's cut back to fourth stimulus and the other breaking news happening today that impacts your fourth stimulus. We started the day with the jobless numbers. It's Thursday. You know how we do it. Every 40-something weeks that this channel has been around for a year and 1 week, I have detailed this number to you every Thursday morning. When the pandemic hit, the week before the pandemic hit, the number of jobless claims on a Thursday was 250,000. Once the pandemic hit the next week, it was 1 million. It stayed at 1 million for 25 weeks. Then it dropped to 800,000, then 600,000. This week came in at 400,000. So a great improvement, but the number of continuing jobless claims increased. What was the reaction? That it basically signaled that the ending of FPUC doesn't particularly make sense because things don't align correctly. It showed that the economy is not particularly stable. It's still relatively fragile. Also fragile is that lumber prices and copper prices and commodity prices are coming down, but they're still up so high. That's why the housing starts number that came out yesterday was down for the worst drop in 15 years, year after year, year to date. There's a big concern that home builders can't build because the commodities are so high. Then there's labor strains across the board. These are all causing a lot of confusion. And then we have the breaking news late this afternoon that the Treasury is asking the White House for the ability to get more money for IRS to enforce people who are getting profits from cryptocurrency and not reporting that earnings to the federal government. They think it's into the hundreds of billions of dollars, which is great news for stimulus because they say this is money that could pay for stimulus and other items. We need to go get that money back. Incredible big details. The Federal Reserve also made news today that they're going to release within 30 days a white paper that details their entrance. You ready for this? Into cryptocurrency with a federal regulated crypto item that is monitored by the Federal Reserve. Incredible, great news. And then finally, Robinhood made big news today announcing that if you want to buy a stock before it goes public, you now can. They can allow you to buy stocks at an IPO price before it goes public, something that's never been available in the U.S. Stock Exchange. You always have to wait for it to go public unless you're a high net worth individual or an owner of the company. And you have to wait for it to go public and then buy it. And by that point, it's gone to the roof and you can't get it at a cheaper price. Robinhood rolled out that announcement today. Let's go back to fourth stimulus and why there's so many twists across the board. What's important to understand is that the ending of certain stimulus items is not an ending of stimulus checks. As the nation reopens, unemployment stimulus is likely not to get extended under fourth stimulus. Rental stimulus will not come back under fourth stimulus. That's rent, eviction, moratorium, mortgage forbearance, FPUC, PUA, PUC are not coming back under fourth stimulus. But Republican and Democrat governors, Republican and Democrat leaders also agree that stimulus checks are needed. Even if the economy reopens and even if you're back to work. Why? Because stimulus checks serve the purpose to get you caught up on your bills. And that even if you have a job, you may not get caught up on your bills. That's why the Senate proposal makes the most sense. The Senate proposal is the biggest cash infusion over the shortest period of time. And with that cash infusion, you get caught up in your bills faster across the land. And that's the great news coming into the big night. In this recording, we went over those monthly stimulus checks heating up on the fourth stimulus package. We went over the big money available for you for rent, utilities, mortgage, and also for SNAP. We went over the money landing automatically from the federal government and also from the states. Then we went over FPUC and the potential of not one, but two major step-ups this year, which would change your benefits for the lifetime. Wow, what a night it is. I'm back with you next with Late Night Crypto. That's a fun show, and then it's replayed in our 9-hour broadcast. Share these videos, share them on Instagram, share them on Twitter and Reddit. Get people to come on over. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel reporting across the board. I want you part of this family, so subscribe. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.